Welcome, I'm Nina Gryphon, and this is the Astrology and Magic channel. Today we'll talk about the astrology of the first week of April 2025. There are some major aspects happening this month, and I look forward to sharing more about that with you. First off, I'd like to say thank you to all of my patrons. If you would like to become a patron and get early access to these astrological forecasts, you can go to patreon.com/Nina Gryphon. At the highest tier, you will get access to my monthly Magical Elections ebook, which teaches you how and when to make astrological talismans. The first week of April covers April 1st through the 5th. Right away, on April 1st, we have Venus retrograde conjoining the North Node at 27 Pisces. Now, Venus returns for a reprise of her conjunction with the North Node. The first time was on February 1st, and that was a moment of entrancement by a beautiful or mesmerizing vision, temporarily forgetting the unreal nature of the universe. Sometimes this combination can lead to obsession or compulsive behavior, a certain lack of connection to reality. But as long as we recognize what's happening, we can pass through this period relatively unharmed, hopefully having enjoyed its magical charms. Now, Venus will conjoin the North Node in Pisces one more time at the end of April. So this second conjunction on April 1st is an opportunity to revisit whatever was going on around February 1st and re-experience those feelings before the final pass. Give them another look, another feel, see how things are now that some time has passed. April 3rd, Mercury retrograde will conjoin the North Node at 27 Pisces. Now, Mercury also conjoins the North Node, just like Venus, as a retrograde planet, since he and Venus are traveling backwards through the zodiac hand in hand at the moment. This is a very magical, deceiving, and self-deceptive combination, since the North Node removes clarity and tends to have that corrupting influence. We can make magic happen now, but we are simultaneously pulled into a vortex of illusion. And it's important to remember that it's really impossible to create illusions or glamours without in some way also falling prey to illusions ourselves. If we seek to do magic, let's remember that in magic, the magician themselves is a tool of the magic, and therefore they cannot be unaffected by whatever they are trying to bring into being. With Venus in close conjunction, it's difficult to get away from metaphors that involve infatuation, obsession, and overwhelming romantic experiences that may feel magical and that take us up into the whirlwind along with other people. April 4th, we have a major aspect, which is Saturn at 24 Pisces making a sextile to Uranus in Taurus. Though the sextile is a relatively subtle aspect, when we have two superior planets involved, as here, it takes on the special meaning as it marks the key points of the synodic cycle of the two planets. The Saturn-Uranus square of a few years ago expressed tension between the authoritarian tendencies and revolutionary tendencies in societies. Now, that square occurred at the start of the war in Ukraine, so we can expect the sextile to bring another important development in this conflict. At this stage, during the sextile, Saturn and Uranus are playing nice and coordinating with one another rather than being in conflict. Note that this is the first of 3 sextiles between these planets. The second will be in August 2025, and the last will be January 2026. So we are really seeing the opening scenes of a drama that will not be fully resolved until January 2026, and it's actually part of an even larger cycle, because the current Saturn-Uranus cycle began in 1988 with the two planets' conjunction in Sagittarius, ushering in the fall of the Iron Curtain and eventual dissolution of the Soviet Union. So we know that this cycle is strongly tied to those events and their developments and conclusions. I will combine this analysis with the fact that also on April 4th, Mars at 24 Cancer sextiles Uranus in Taurus and trines Saturn in Pisces. The presence of Mars with a sextile emphasizes that the Saturn-Uranus combination is about conflict, their negotiation, and potential resolution. Yet, as astrologers know, Saturn and Uranus are only making a waning sextile aspect, which, while indicating the near closing of a cycle, does not indicate the actual end of the cycle until Saturn and Uranus conjoin. So even if we hear a lot of talk about conflicts ending at the moment, or there being any kind of definitive resolution or direction forever and ever, we can see that the Saturn-Uranus conjunction does not occur until 2032. So any closure that we may expect as a result of the sextile is really just the closure of a single act in a much longer play. It's not over till it's over, and it is definitely not over yet. We still have about 7 years to go to see the full completion and fruition of this cycle. Thanks for watching. I'm Nina Gryphon, and this is the Astrology and Magic channel.